For amber ways of rain, for purple mountains' majesty, upon the fruited plains of America, America. God shed His grace on me and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. We may not be real happy about the shape our country is in, but it's still the land of all the lands where dreams can still come true. Only in America can a person make a choice. It's still the land of all the land where dreams can still come true. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to take a stand. I'm proud to tell the whole wide world that I'm American. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, upon the fruited plains of America, America. God shed His grace on me and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Joe.
A nation united in its grief. You see there Birmingham, Alabama, commemorating the loss, the World Trade Center at the Pentagon, and in Western Pennsylvania on Tuesday. This is one of the many, many ceremonies of remembrance all across the nation underway this evening. As well, we understand some in Canada, where people have joined in something of an email campaign, joining in and saying at 7 o'clock this evening, most places local time, people will come forward with their candles and remember and honor those whose lives have been lost. Also, the grief shared by the world, many places in the world. In fact, we told you yesterday about the Queen's Guard, the changing of the Guard, marking the tragic loss in the United States with the singing of the Stars and Stripes, or the playing of the Stars and Stripes. Earlier today in Germany, the Brandenburg Gate, a symbol of freedom, a symbol of so much division during the Cold War, at the Brandenburg Gate, marking this day as well with a note of amazing grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I
I'm Wolf Blitzer in Washington.
And I'm Joey Chen at CNN Center in Atlanta. We want to continue now with our coverage and bring you up to date with the latest information we have about the tragedies of Tuesday. President Bush was very much in the public eye today as he helped the country, in his own words, express our nation's sorrow. Mr. Bush traveled to New York himself to see the devastation at the World Trade Center site. He met with the rescue workers who greeted him with chants, USA, USA. Earlier in the day, Mr. Bush, as well as much of the nation's leadership, gathered at the Washington National Cathedral at a service to honor the victims of Tuesday's terror attacks. 4 former U.S. presidents, diplomats from 170 countries, were all also there to share the nation's grief. Commercial airline service has resumed at most U.S. airports, although on a limited basis still. And with the new security measures, officials are warning passengers that they must show up 2.5 hours before domestic flights so that all the security can be done. Wolf?
Joey, our senior White House correspondent John King has been doing some digging, some reporting, which of course is what he does best. John, tell us what you've just learned about Pakistan and its willingness to cooperate with the United States in this expected war against Osama bin Laden.
Wolf, senior administration officials telling us a short time ago this could be, emphasis on could be, a significant development. We know the president's weekend deliberations with his national security team will focus on potential military responses, and we know the administration has been trying to pressure the government of Pakistan to cooperate. Pakistan neighbors Afghanistan, which of course is where Osama bin Laden has safe harbor. We are told in a series of diplomatic conversations over the past few days, Pakistan responded today by promising the U.S. government it would, quote, cooperate fully with any U.S. efforts here. Now, a little bit of background. Right after the attacks, the Pakistani government condemned them and promised to cooperate. So yesterday, Secretary of State Colin Powell decided to put that to the test. He spoke to Pakistan's president, and he said the United States wanted Pakistan to close its border with Afghanistan, to stop supplying fuel to the Taliban movement, and to guarantee that if asked, Pakistan would provide access to Pakistani airspace to any U.S. warplanes. The U.S. government also asked for any information that the Pakistani government might have about the movements or the organization of Mr. bin Laden. Now, we are told today there was another diplomatic conversation in which Pakistan promised to fully cooperate. Want to emphasize U.S. officials still a bit skeptical. This has been a hot and cold relationship. They say the major test will be whether Pakistan moves immediately to close its border with Afghanistan. U.S. officials watching that closely. Now, this all part of a much broader effort by the Bush administration to build an international coalition, a long-term coalition to fight the war against terrorism, and we know a bit more about that tonight as well. We are told by senior officials that in all those conversations Mr. Bush has had with international leaders in recent days, he has specifically appealed to the leaders of nations like Canada, France, and Germany to crack down on terrorist cells known to be operating in their countries. He has also asked Saudi Arabia to crack down on any financial support to Mr. bin Laden and to the Taliban. Secretary of State Colin Powell at the State Department today outlined in a broad sense what the administration was looking for.
The enemy is in many places. The enemy is not looking to be found. The enemy is hidden. The enemy is very often right here within our own country. And so you have to design a campaign plan that goes after that kind of enemy. And it isn't always blunt force military, although that is certainly an option. It may well be that the diplomatic efforts, political efforts, legal, financial, other efforts may be just as effective against that kind of an enemy as with military force.
So again, the administration encouraged tonight. It says it has received a promise from Pakistan to fully cooperate with any U.S. efforts here. One footnote, though, U.S. officials saying they want to put that promise to the test. They are watching to see if Pakistan shuts down the border with Afghanistan. Wolf.
And John, just to nail this point because it's significant, General Pervez Musharraf, the president of Pakistan, are you saying he did give the United States authority, permission to use Pakistani airspace to fly over Pakistan if it were going to attack positions of Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan?
What I am told, and we need to be careful here, but what I am told by senior administration officials is that subsequent to the conversation with Secretary Powell, the Pakistani government has promised to, quote, fully cooperate. And we do know that one of the requests was that the United States could ask for and would immediately receive promised that it could fly through Pakistani airspace. So it certainly is implied in saying you would fully cooperate, that you would grant that access. Again, U.S. officials saying they want to test this out, they want to have follow-up conversations, and first and foremost, they want to see Pakistan do what it could do quickest, shut the border with Afghanistan.
John King at the White House, thank you very much. Joey?
Wolf, here in the CNN newsroom, we have General Wesley Clark, of course, advisor to CNN about all these matters. Military, certainly your experience with NATO, will help us to understand a little bit more about what John King has been talking about the significance of Pakistan's cooperation, however much that turns out to be. Can you outline for us some of the keys in this and why Pakistan is so crucial?
Well, Pakistan is the bridge into Afghanistan along this border. We would normally like to use the seaways to get access to the region. If we were going to go in with ground troops, of course, we would want to make an egress through Pakistan. If we were going to use air power, perhaps we'd go over Pakistan. All that is entirely speculative right now, but we do know that the Taliban and Osama bin Laden in particular are getting support out of Pakistan. So first order of business is cut off that support along that border. Second order of business is we want the Taliban to isolate Osama bin Laden, detain him, bring him in.
Is that the rough area, the area you just circled? Is that?
He's got many different camps in many different areas. And we don't have, to the best of my knowledge,